Chapter 18. Days passed. Edward recovered enough to get up and look around. The crew worked day and night catching fish. They worked in fair weather and foul. Nicholas learned everything he could about fishing from Tony. My dad says fishermen from many countries have come to these fishing grounds for hundreds of years, Tony told Nicholas. They sailed their ships across the Atlantic Ocean, looking for fish to feed the people back home. The fishermen set up fishing stations all over New England. My home port, Gloucester, is the most famous one of all. There's a big bronze statue of a fisherman right in the waterfront in town, Tony said. He and Nicholas were down below. Tony was eating his dinner, and Nicholas was nibbling a piece of biscuit left over from the crew's meal. The crew was up on deck hauling in the last load of fish for the day. There weren't always big motorboats to fish from, Tony continued. Long ago, men built schooners with tall masts to sail to the fishing grounds. When the schooner reached the Grand Banks, the fishermen had to row out in small dories to catch the fish. They came to know every section of water along the New England coast. Do you think they would know where West Tisbury is? Nicholas asked. I've come all the way from the western edge of Massachusetts looking for West Tisbury. I bet they would, Tony said. You know who else might know? A gannet, a seabird friend of mine named Gilbert. Sometimes we'll have a talk when we cross paths at sea. He knows the whole East Coast. Will you see your friend on this trip? Nicholas asked. You never can tell with seabirds, Tony said. Sometimes they fly in close to the boat. Sometimes they keep their distance. Come on, let's see if we can find Gilbert. They went out on the deck again. The crew was finishing their day's work. They were too busy to pay attention to Tony and Nicholas. It was getting late and the sun was setting. As the bright orange ball dipped below the horizon, it filled the sky with a light and color Nicholas had never seen on land. In the gathering dusk, Nicholas noticed 4 or 5 birds skimming over the wave tops. As they drew closer, Nicholas watched one bird rise up, hover over the water, then dive, folding his sharp wings as he plunged down into the sea. There he is! Tony shouted. Over here! Gilbert! Gilbert! It's me! Tony jumped up and down, yipping and yapping. The graceful seabird dipped one wing and carved a turn in the air, heading toward the trawler. Good to see you, Tony, Gilbert said, hovering behind the boat. How's the fishing? Well, the boat is nearly full. The captain says soon we'll head for shore to sell our catch. That's a good idea. As I flew high in the sky, I saw a big storm heading this way. I don't think you would want to be out on the ocean during the storm, Gilbert said. Gilbert, this is my friend Nicholas, Tony said, pointing his nose at the mouse. He sort of stowed away on the boat when we left Gloucester. Is that so? Gilbert said, swooping in close to look at Nicholas. Why did you want to go to sea? It's a dangerous place for such a young mouse. We didn't exactly want to go to sea, Nicholas said. My friend Edward and I have been traveling for months. I'm looking for a town called West Tisbury. Have you heard of it? Nicholas asked. West Tisbury? Gilbert asked. That's right, Nicholas said. It's very important. My parents are counting on me. I have to find my uncle who lives there. I know the place, Gilbert said. It's on an island to the south of here. It's on the other side of Cape Cod, south of Boston. We're headed to Boston with this load of fish, Tony said. I bet you can find it when we get there. Remember, Gilbert said as he flew away, you should head for land as soon as you can. He was just a small speck now in the darkening sky. Nicholas was happy. He knew he was getting closer to his destination, even though he was still miles out to sea. and there was an ocean storm out there somewhere.